Hey guys, Fox here with an updated Viamance Bruce deck profile for you guys today. I know it's been a little while since set 12 released, but I was doing a lot of testing, and I think I settled on a build I like. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. Obviously, still running Viamance Bruce as our main Vanguard in the ride deck. His ability is on the Vanguard at the beginning of your battle phase. If all of your units have Diabolos or Diabolos in their card name, until the end of your opponent's next turn, you Final Rush, and then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, you Final Burst. And then the second ability is when he attacks, if you aren't Final Rush, you counterblast 1, choose a column, stand all of your rear guards with Diabolos and their card name in that column, and they get 5,000 power until end of turn. So you restand a whole column, pretty nice. And then still running the old Bruce ride line with Richard. His skill, for those of you who don't know, is when it's placed on Vanguard, you put a rear guard into your soul and you draw a card, and then if you're in Final Rush, it gets 5k on the rear guard. You didn't used to use their abilities on the rear guard before. You really don't ever call Richard, but we do use Steve's rear guard ability now. So when he is placed on Vanguard, you choose a card from your soul, call it to your back row center rear guard circle, and you soul charge 1. And then its second ability is on rear. If you are in Final Rush, it gets 5k. So there are times I have called this off of the grade 2. So just keep in mind his other rear guard ability that we didn't use before. And then obviously, starter has the ability if you went second, you draw a card when you ride over top of him. And then getting into the other grade 3s, I am still running the Gradiel for the Persona ride. And then we are running 3 Bruce. Like I said, just want to max out on the Persona rides, and this is a way more aggressive deck than other decks, I feel like, so you definitely want to have that pressure from the Gradiel. And then moving on to grade 2s, one of the new units we got in set 12, maxing out on Gino, because he's basically your win condition in the deck. So his ability is on the front row, when your Vanguard attacks, if you are in Final Rush, you Soul Blast 2, and then for every 2 cards in your damage zone, you choose up to 1 of your rear guards in the same column as this unit, stand them, and if 2 units stood, they get 5,000 until end of turn. And then his other ability is when he's in the front row rear, at the end of your turn, if you are in Final Rush, you put him in a soul, and then you choose a normal unit from your soul, and you may put it in your hand. So really amazing ability. Allows you to get your PGs. If you don't have another of Gino, you can get him back as well. So really solid card. And then still running 4 of the Jamil. For those who don't know his ability, on rear or guardian circle, if you're in Final Burst, it gets 10,000 power and 5,000 shield. And then when it is placed on rear, if your Vanguard is Diabolos Viamance Bruce, you counterblast 1, soul charge 1, and you choose up to 1 grade 3 or less normal unit with Diabolos on its card name from your soul, and you call it to an open rear guard circle. So really good, just helps you fill your field. And then I am running for Leonard now. So you do not get the second ability, which states that your Vanguard has to be Diabolos Viamance Bruce, but I'm running him for his first ability. So it's continuous on rear guard. If you're in Final Rush, this unit gets 5k. And when this unit would attack, it battles all of your opponent's units in a column. So really good in that aspect, just to wipe out your opponent's rear guards. And yeah. And then you also get the soul charge as well for his second ability. So it fuels your Gino, and it also helps you get cards and soul to call from this grade 2. So really good card overall, and really liking it in the deck. And then my last grade 2, I'm running still 1 Eden. If you have a 4th of the grade 1 that I'm waiting on coming in the mail, you can run that as well. But it's still a solid card. So if you're in Final Rush, it gets 5,000 power, and if it's stood by a card effect, it gets +1 critical. And then when this unit attack hits, you can counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. It's really good if somebody tries to early game pressure you, or even in the later game. It is just another really good attacker for the deck. And then we'll go ahead and move on to grade 1s. So 3 Nile right now. I will be running the 4th when I get it in the mail. But I have been liking the Eden, so we'll see on that. An older card for the deck, for those who don't know its ability, it's continuous on Guardian Circle. If an attack hit your Vanguard with Bruce in its card name this turn, it gets plus 15,000 shield. So a really good defensive option in the deck as a lot of the decks right now are more aggressive in the format in general. So you definitely want to be able to survive until you can get to your next Bruce turn. And then the other new card we got from set 12 is Diabolos Tailbacker Derek. So his skill is when you final rush, it gets continuous during the battle of this unit boosted. When your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. And then he gets 5,000 power until the end of the turn. At the end of the turn, you do have to retire him if you, so just keep that in mind. And then moving on to Mabel. Still running 2 of her, really good as a booster behind the Vanguard. Gets you that triple drive. So it's when this unit boosts a Vanguard, if you are in final rush, you counterblast 1 and choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets triple drive until end of turn. So it just helps you accrue advantage and then get that extra drive check. So really good. One of the few cards you want to call out early to pressure, because you're really going to, especially behind your grade 3 is when you want to call it out. But it's not bad because it replaces itself. You get the triple drive. So even if they retire it or do something to get rid of it, then you still have it minus from calling it. And then we're running 4 of the Recusal Hate Dragon. Your standard, if you have the certain amount of cards, so it's, yeah, if your hand has 2 or more cards, you discard. If not, you don't. So running these standard PGs. Really good to get back, like I said, with the Geno. If you don't have the PG in Soul, a lot of times you will go for the defensive option, Nile. Or like I said, if you don't have another Geno, you can even go for him as well. So then moving on to the triggers. I am running the blue PG. I was running the red PG in here for a while, but this one is just so consistent and good when it goes off, especially offensively. So for those of you who don't know, you get the 100 million and draw, obviously like all of the other over triggers, but its additional effect is you choose a card from your drop, you put it in your hand, and then you choose one of your units and it gets +1 critical until end of turn. I really like it in the deck. It helps you recycle your combo pieces. It just adds the pressure with the critical trigger, and your columns are already hitting pretty big numbers as is. So really amazing the deck. I've been loving it so far. And then for our other triggers, we're running 4 of the Diabolos Heal, 4 of the Diabolos Crit. I'm running 3 of the Effect critical trigger, Stem Deviate Dragon, just because sometimes it's very situational and rarely comes up, but when it does, it's really good. It helps fuel your Geno skill, so you could do it additional times. And then this is where you can kind of deviate. Right now I'm testing the Effect Draw trigger, Riley. It doesn't have the Diabolos name, but like I said, I feel like this format is so aggressive, even though we are running 3 copies of the grade 1 that gets shield. Nile, I still feel like it's worth it to run the Effect Draws. Haven't tested it quite extensively yet, but if you don't like it, you can always run 4 of the Diabolos Boys Jake. You lose the shield, but you can call it for offensive pressure if you need to finish out games, so it's really good in that aspect. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to more deck profiles and some matches from set 13 coming up. And yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.